Hi guys, welcome to Mendoza Mix. I'm Michelle Mendoza, and today we're going to be making a Crunchwrap. People have been remaking this thing like a ton, so I don't really want to add to the noise of how to make a Crunchwrap, but I think that the Crunchwrap is an excellent, perfect example of thinking about texture in your cooking and how it will affect how you taste things. Half of how we taste food actually has nothing to do with the flavor of the food. It has to do with the texture. If you think of it this way, like when you eat something, you're physically interacting with it in your mouth. So what it feels like to you is part of how you taste it. Things like chocolate chunk cookies instead of chocolate chip. You didn't do anything to change the flavor. It's still chocolate, but it's in a different form because it changes the texture of the food and makes it more chunky and something that you have to bite into. Things like soda that goes flat still has the same flavor. Nothing about the flavor has changed. It's just the texture, that it's not carbonated anymore. But to us, it doesn't taste as good because it doesn't have that texture anymore. That's why things also like Jell-O are so interesting for us to eat, because it's this kind of mushy, gelatinous substance that you can kind of squish around in your teeth. That's one of my favorite things to do with it. People liking crunchy versus creamy peanut butter, which crunchy is better, just saying. The crisp that you get on the outside of your meat. When you have leftover French fries and you put them in the fridge and then they're not as good the next day because they got all mushy. Same flavor, it's only the texture that's changed, but to you it doesn't taste as good, and it's because of the texture. The texture matters so much. It's so important, and the Crunchwrap is a great example of what Taco Bell, of all places, has done to make the texture of one piece of food so complex and so many different textures working together with the flavors. Is when you bite into a Crunchwrap, first it's a soft tortilla and the juiciness of the meat, and then you get the crunch from the tostada and from the lettuce and the creamy again from the sour cream, and then you also get like some more juicy and tang flavor from the tomatoes that are in there. So it's this combination of soft, creamy, crunchy that makes it so interesting and so good. And I think that's what really draws everyone to it and why it's so popular, because of the added texture element. Texture is half of what you taste, really. Thinking about that with literally every single dish that you make, thinking about texture and what's it going to feel like in your mouth when you eat it is actually really important. And using different textures together to make a more complex and interesting bite when you eat your food. So there are a couple things in this that I'm gonna try that I actually have never made before. I have never made my own flour tortillas from scratch, but as I've said before on this channel, I do watch Joshua Weissman's channel, and one of his big things is making your tortillas from scratch. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna use his recipe. I'll put the link in the description. He has a great video on how to make it. The other thing that I'm gonna do is make nacho cheese sauce, because I could use shredded cheese and that would probably be really easy to shred up the cheese and call it a day. But because I wanna focus on the texture specifically, like liquefying it and turning it into a creamy sauce will add that creamy texture to the finished product. So that's really what I'm focusing on. The shredded cheese, while it will melt a bit, it won't create that same like sauce that I want. And that's the texture I'm going for. I'm gonna use some ground beef to make taco meat. And then I just have lettuce, tomato, and the tostada, sour cream, and then assemble it, and then I'll grill it, and then I'm gonna eat it. Let's go. bubbling. Okay, I'm gonna flip it now. Ooh, look at that. For the cheese sauce, I have not made a nacho cheese sauce before, but I have made bechamel sauce for pasta, which sounds super fancy, but it's actually really, really easy. It's just milk, butter, and flour. I think that's where I'm gonna start, and then I'm just gonna use, melt some shredded cheddar cheese into it. And this is a perfect example of building on recipes that you've already made, that you know how to make, and then turning them into something else. So, like, I know how to make bechamel sauce, but I wanna make nacho cheese sauce. But because I've made the bechamel sauce, I can pull from that knowledge and use it for this here. Hope that makes sense to you. Anyway. What you start with first making bechamel sauce is the butter, then the flour, and then you slowly pour in hot milk. This is 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm gonna melt it. Okay, I'm gonna add flour, and I'm continuously whisking. Keep whisking, whisk, 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 whisk. And then I'm going to slowly stream in my hot milk. I am going to use 1 1/4 cup, and I'm going to still continuously whisk as I do this. Still whisking. See, it's pretty fast, and I'm not gonna let it bubble. I wanna turn the heat down. You don't want it to boil. And in fact, when I add the cheese, I'm actually gonna take it completely off the heat. Okay, so I'm going to take this off the heat and immediately add the cheese. Let it melt. See how fast that melts? If I had the heat on still, it would be way too hot and it would burn the sauce, and that's no good. See, now look at that thick, creamy sauce. Ooh yeah. When recipes say to coat the back of a spoon, or like when you can run your spoon through it, see it leaves a line right there, and then it like takes a minute for it to fill in. If it was completely liquid and not thickened at all, then it would just fill in immediately. Like I wouldn't be able to do that. But the flour and the milk, butter combination, that like roux, is what gives it that like little bit of thickness. So that's the important part. And I'm gonna add a little bit of pepper to this because I love pepper in everything. Okay. That's gonna be our cheese sauce. And like I said before, taste as you go so that you can adjust it if it needs to be adjusted. So now that we made this, I'm gonna taste it. Nope, it's good. Oh, that's so cheddary. It's eating cheese sauce off of a spoon like an animal. I'll just eat that with some chips. Okay, thanks, bye. All right, so we're gonna make the taco meat now. I'm gonna put a little bit of oil in my pan. I'm gonna add my meat. Break it up a little bit. Now all I'm doing right now is just gonna brown this. Okay, and then in here I have our seasonings that I'm gonna use. I have a tablespoon of cayenne pepper and onion powder, and then about like half of a tablespoon of cumin and a little bit of salt. Be careful with the cumin because you can very quickly go from tasting like good taco flavor to tasting like foot. But the cumin is what gives it that like taco flavor. And then I like the cayenne pepper for a little bit of spice. You can also use paprika if you don't want that much spice or you don't like the heat of cayenne pepper. But you can flavor it with whatever you want. I'm gonna add the spices. Make sure that it's well distributed through the meat. And like it smells like taco now because I put the cumin in there. Like that's what cumin smells like to me, as tacos. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the heat. That's it, super easy. It is assembly time. So we have our homemade tortillas. I made these two a little bit smaller on purpose. I will show you. Tortilla, meat. This meat is really, really good. I'm excited. Now I think this is gonna be maybe like a burrito where I overfill it on accident. And then our tostada. I'm gonna push it, but I'm not gonna push too hard because I don't want it to crack. And then I'm gonna put some Roma tomatoes and some sour cream. Oh, I should have put the sour cream first. Darn it, so that I could spread it easier. All right, well, put the sour cream first in the future so that you can spread it with the back of a spoon. And then I'm gonna put some lettuce. Wow, that's too much. Too much. Calm down, lettuce. Calm down. This isn't a salad. There it is. Okay, now I'm gonna take my little smaller tortilla and put it here. Haha, see? Because the problem is if I wrap this up like this, there's gonna be a hole in the middle. No good. So instead, I'm gonna just pinch. Okay, so far so good. Oh my gosh, it's working. It's working. Yes. All right, I feel like this is the hardest part of making this thing, is making it all stay together. Okay, ready, 3, 2, 1, go! Okay, hopefully that worked. I'm gonna make another one for the husband. And this time, see, I'm gonna do the sour cream first. Okay, and the husband does not like tomatoes, so we're just gonna put lettuce. My little tortilla, little baby tortilla, you go on top. These homemade tortillas are so soft. I'm really excited to eat it with the crunchy from the tostada. Texture, it's gonna be so good. Why am I folding this now when that one's in there? It's not done yet. Oh no! Holding it together. Let's see about this one. Oh, it kind of came apart. Darn it, it came apart. Well, I'm just gonna finish letting it grill. It's fine. The eating it part is what matters to me now, because I've been working on this for a while and now I'm real hungry. Oh, you know what? Okay. I'm sorry, my friend, but I'm gonna have to let you go. Oh, sorry, bye. Because I think that where the hinge is, it'll press it like this and maybe hold it down so that it stays. So let's try that and see what happens. Okay, let's see if that's holding. Oh, see, that's working? Okay, so I'm just gonna go around. Don't burn your fingers. I don't wanna burn my fingers. Not worth it. I'm just gonna take it off and put this one on. But now I have to I have to do this one again. You know, if they were shaped in a square, that would probably be easier. Like a Wendy's hamburger. Hey, Taco Bell. Wendy's knows where it's at. You need square things. Okay, not gonna lie. The assembly is not great. But let's taste. I don't even know where to eat this. Okay. Oh my gosh, that meat. I'll say it one more time. Texture. I cannot express enough. Texture of your food. Oh my gosh, matters so much. This is good. Joshua Weissman is right. Make your own tortillas. That was so easy. And it made a huge difference. The flavor of this is way better. And the little pockets of air that get formed when you fry it on your skillet add even more texture to this already very complex textured dish. In the future, I would probably roll the tortillas bigger so that they had more room to like fold over if this is what I was gonna do with them. The little tortilla on the top was a really good idea, so I'd still do that, but I'd probably make these bigger so that I can actually like enfold it, because that's where I failed, was assembly. I would probably also put more cheese sauce. Honestly, I'm probably gonna go drizzle some cheese sauce as I eat the rest of this right now. So if you like this video or you learned something, give it a like. If you want to learn more, subscribe to my channel. I upload videos every Friday. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.